everyone, I'm Tisha. This is Spike. Guess who's on my shirt? Just wanted to share that. It's gonna be, I have ADD and it's gonna be a little awkward because I'm not used to talking to the camera. I'm used to being on the other side of the camera. But this has been a video that has totally been long overdue. I think about doing it every day and then I just don't get around to it. And how and where do you begin on a story, especially if you got ADD and everything. So I don't think I ever shared with you guys how I got to where I am today, as far as the nomadic lifestyle, van living, all that kind of stuff. About 2 years ago, February 29th, 2014, I moved out of what I call traditional housing, which was an apartment. I lived in that apartment for 7 years. I lived on my own. Well, I had a roommate, but we pretty much had everything separate. We divided everything in half. So I lived there about 7 years. The first couple of years were okay. The recession was really bad. So, the neighborhood got worse. Work would be slow, it would be hard to pay the bills, and it's just like living with a roommate. And for what we paid for the apartment, because it was a really tiny apartment, really shitty ghetto in a terrible neighborhood, and where I live in the Bay Area, California, rent is just ridiculous expensive, and I stay here because of my work. I own my own business, so work in this area is really good for what I do. I'm a pet care specialist, so I do dog walks, pet sits, grooming, nutrition, health, anything associated with taking care of your pet in the pet's home. I also do some training, basic training and stuff. Pretty much anything that you may need help taking care of with your pet, So anyways, work gets seasonal sometimes, so I don't have a steady paycheck all the time, such as anybody who's pretty much self-employed. So I moved around so much growing up as a kid. We lived everywhere. We moved a lot. There's times we ended up being homeless or living in a shelter, or, it was a family of 4, or we'd end up in a 1-bedroom apartment. We kind of lived everywhere. My mom was a single parent, 3 kids in the Bay Area. Worked 2 jobs. Anyways, that's my backstory, kind of. So I was living in this apartment for about 7 years, and I was so just fed up with it. I had 3 dogs. I really wanted to move out, but it was really hard to rent a room anywhere else. I wasn't in any relationship to just go and live with that person. I don't have a family really. I don't really have close friends. Everybody else I know lives with their parents still. So I was like, what am I going to do? I'd love to own my own home. I knew I couldn't do it with what I make. So I guess I just started looking around at affordable housing and all this other stuff. And I don't know, one thing led to another. I was looking at those tiny homes. I was like, oh my God, I want to save up for a tiny home. Yeah, they sound great at $40,000 or $10,000. I would have made my own. But what do you do about land? And I can't live way out in the sticks because I need to get around close by for all my clients. So what do I do, So looking for the tiny homes thing, eventually I pondered upon the whole RV living. And oh, I'm so sorry. Did you sigh? That was cute. Am I boring you? Do you need to go somewhere? You sleepy? So I was like, why don't I just live in an RV? But I knew for paying rent and normal day-to-day bills and not really having anything left over for savings, I couldn't do that. So what I decided to do was to go ahead and move out of my apartment, totally get rid of as much stuff as possible, and live out of my car for a few months to be able to save up for an RV. And I wanted a small one because it would just need me and my 3 dogs at the time. But then one of my dogs died, so I was down to 2 dogs. Okay, so I stayed in the car for about a month, moved out of my normal apartment, put everything into storage, started selling things off. Well, one of my clients luckily had an apartment that just vacated, and she felt so bad for me living out of my car with my dogs. And I said, what else can I do, to be able to save up money to buy an RV to live in, and urban camp and everything. So she said, why don't you stay in the vacant apartment while we fix it up? So I got to do that for a few months and pretty much, just be there for the construction guys when they had to show up. So it was pretty much like living out of a car, almost, just bigger, because a lot of times, you wouldn't have electricity or running water because of all the remodifications they had to do. Okay, that's not a word, I know. Anyways, fast forward some more months. I had all the money saved up. I ended up finding a bus, a 30-passenger transportation bus. It was a 1993 Ford E350 Star Trans and 24 feet in length. It was pretty much like having a Class C RV. I loved it. The first 2 months moving in was very hard. It leaked from a lot of places. It didn't have mold or mildew. It just leaked from the window seams, as a lot of buses do. It's like those MV transportation buses you'd probably see around town, the shorter ones. And the first 2 months were really hard, but at the same time, because it was such a transition, living from normal housing to moving into a big vehicle like that. And I was lucky, one of my clients, who's a dear friend of mine too, that I've known for 7 years, she lets me park it in the back of one of her properties. But the thing is, I don't have full hookups or anything. It's just sitting back there like on a parking lot, At least it's safe and I feel secure back there, but I have no full hookups or anything. So the first 2 months I had to figure out how everything worked in the bus, because I bought it off the guys for $4,200, which was a great deal. There was no wood rot, no mildew, nothing like that. I had to figure out how the solar system worked. I had to figure out how a lot of these random buttons, how a lot of things worked in it. I didn't know anybody else who knew anything. I know a lot more now, which is awesome, and thanks to Facebook and YouTube and everything. And even though I researched this lifestyle a lot, once you start living it, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to apply all this stuff I learned. Now where's all my notes, And it's like, reading it and researching it is one thing, but living it on the day-to-day is a whole other new different ball game. And you kind of have to go make things up as you go, learn as you go, try to network out there. Everybody is really friendly and helpful in this world about this kind of stuff. So I lived in the bus. I got it in November of 2014. And the first 2 months were very difficult. Then after a couple months, it was like pretty good, smooth sailing. I loved it. I never felt so much at peace about so many things in my life. It was great. Over time, I knew when I got the bus, it was more than I could chew, basically. It was a huge deal. It was a lot to take care of. But I was okay with that. And then one of my dogs. Oh, okay. Stop. He's just saying hi. It's okay. I'm just bat sitting. Spike's like, hey, I need my space. I'm with my mom. It's us time, huh? So I knew it was more than I could chew, basically. So then one of my dogs passed away in May. I was working a lot, so the bus just became such a big burden for me. So I know it was time to downsize. And I would have loved a Class B RV, but there's no way that was going to be in my budget. So I kind of just looked some more. Is there a smaller RV? What can I get now? I'd love to downsize, and get something way more mobile. My car I was outgrowing. I had a 4-door mid-size sedan. I was outgrowing that for work. So I was, came to the conclusion, like, why don't I sell the bus and sell my car and get a van and convert that into a motorhome? And so September 22nd of 2015, I came across a great deal. I didn't have the money, but I came up with the money in a couple of days from borrowing, and I've pretty much paid everyone back for that, which has been so awesome. Like, I had a couple of people that really helped me out in that time of need. and I was able to buy a 2001 Dodge Ram Van 2500 V8, fuel injected, and I have loved that van, and it's been like the best. And it was in clean, pristine condition, and so I've just, kind of pretty much the whole outside just kind of kept it like a normal van, and the inside's totally been converted, and so the dog on pet sitting at is staring at me. He's so cute. So yeah, so pretty much with the van, I take it, it's also my work vehicle and my home, and I can't wait to start taking it camping, in a couple of months once I kind of get a few more things worked on about it, like, solar panel and, a couple other little things here and there. And so yeah, I have the van, and it's pretty much my car, my work vehicle, my home, and then I help people randomly when they need, like, hey, can you help me move this or that? But yeah, so it's been really good, and hopefully all this made sense to you guys. Hopefully, yeah, so with the van, I pretty much have it with me like 24/7. I can park it anywhere. Totally looks like incognito. I will do a tour of that soon. There's just some little fine tuning because right now it still looks like a mess a little bit, because there's all these like projects that I start and then I don't always have the time to finish. So it's kind of a little bit of a mess, So, but I'm getting closer to almost having it done, then to give you guys a full-on tour. So I'm probably going to cut this video off now before this gets any longer or before the camera stops. If you guys have any questions, you could probably put them down below. Hopefully I'll get to them. I am self-employed, so there's times I have chunks of time to take care of things like this, and then there's times where I don't. So please be patient. I'm total YouTube junkie, but then at the same time, I'm really bad at being the other end of it. Even though I have this channel and it's kind of totally in its infancy, but I want to kind of like be more involved than just a watcher, with my few comments here or there. So yeah, and I definitely want to share with you guys the modifications I make to the van, and as far as the car and the bus goes, technically I still have those two vehicles. I'm still cleaning them out as time permits, and I definitely love to sell both of them. I'm working on that, We've had a lot of rain, so it's really hard to kind of do a lot of that stuff, and even a lot of the stuff I got to do on the van, it's just like rain and then work, so it's kind of like, ugh, it's just kind of, and then we don't have much daylight because it's winter time, so it could start like 5:30, which kind of sucks. Totally cuts your day like in half, I always feel like, especially because I kind of sleep in because I'm a total night person. Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely soon share all the modifications that I've done and how I've done different systems, like how I cook and how I've done the water, how I have fresh running water in the van, toilet, things like that, and how you can do it really affordable. This lifestyle, I believe, is for anybody as long as you know how to downsize basically what you have, and you got to have some sort of, little bit of money to be able to do it. The van is better on gas, or just as same pretty much as my 4-door sedan I used to have. My 4-door sedan was a 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer, and oddly, I just spend just as much gas. I just get to fill up once a week now, versus in my car it was 2 to 3 times a week. So yeah, yay, this video is like a little bit of all over the place, but this is actually me trying to slow it down for you guys because my mind goes very fast, so with a million thoughts and everything everywhere. So hopefully this made sense to you guys. If not, go watch someone else who does. Yeah, so you can always leave comments or questions. I would love soon to do a questions, like you guys submit some questions, you know, because I'm just a normal girl living in the Bay Area with her dog and having her own business, doing this nomadic lifestyle basically, you know, but I do it a little bit different because I do have a job, but at the same time I want to travel more and do a lot, so it's different than some of those other people on YouTube, I think, a little bit, you know what I mean? But we all have the same passion of just living on the road, having freedom, doing it our way, how we want, how we feel, you know? What else? But yeah, so you can submit questions down below, or we as in my dog and I and my van, have a Facebook page. It's called Paradise Gained, and like paradise, you know, like paradise gained, and I will probably do another video at some point why and how I came up with that name, so stay tuned, because eventually at some point I will do that video. Yes, talk your ear off. Alright, I'll let you guys go. Oh, did I show you my shirt? And my hair? It's like totally mohawk. Yeah, I just want to play like show and tell. Did you see all the colors in my hair? And my earrings? Yeah. Yeah. Great. Bye.